All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the special presentation here. We got patch 3.6 discussion going to be coming at you, specifically on the balance side. Of course, what is Calamity's corruption here in patch 3.6? Again, a big patch. Not only do we have Calamity entering Newerth, of course, our newest hero, but also we got a lot of balance changes. Sure, a lot of it was focused around supports, but there was also a lot of other changes that happened, and for good reason, ultimately. So, looking forward to seeing how that impacts and changes things. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying it so far, and will continue to do so. But here, we're going to be joined by yet another player on what we're doing with these segments here. This time, going to be joined by Probusk, currently of Dawn in the competitive scene. So, Probusk, how's it going, man?
It's going just good. Christmas break here. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, coming up, we got a little bit of a break here, so time to, I'm sure, spend time with the family and everything, but
of course.
Also going to play some Heroes of Newerth on the side, and going to check out this patch. It sounds like you've been playing a bit so far with this patch, and you're enjoying it so far.
Yeah, I have. It's a really positive patch for me, at least. It had changed a lot of the important things, and I mean, I've brought a lot of these points up already, so it's so satisfying to see them finally changed.
Yeah.
And yeah, TMM is much more fun now after some of the cancerous heroes, so to say, sort of being toned down. So yeah, it means a lot to me. It's a lot more fun to sort of play now, I think. I really enjoyed.
Good, and again, that's the purpose ultimately, and hopefully the players at home and the people watching this feel the same, or at least will after watching this even. So again, we're going to go over a couple of likes and dislikes here from the patch, and then that'll pretty much be it. Nothing too long here, so we'll get it kicked off. Our first one that we want to talk about, one of the likes here, and speaking of heroes that may have been very picked up quite often, finally got toned down a little bit here. Swiftblade, of course, is what I'm talking about. Again, you can see right there on your screen, Blade Frenzy, Counterattack, Way of the Sword, all getting nerfs really across the board, as well as the starting strength even decreased, so survivability in that sense. Deservingly so, it sounds like, and overall, Probusk, you're pretty happy with this.
I'm really happy. This change had to be made. Like, it's pretty obvious when the hero is like literally first picked or first banned or blind banned in every single competitive game. Like, it's probably because the hero is a little bit too strong, so to say. But yeah, I actually went over it and thought a lot about it and played it and see like how big of a change is this actually. Because I mean, you think about this, 5 damage off the spin, it doesn't seem like a lot. And if you calculate it, it lasts for 5 seconds, so it's 25 less magic damage if you take damage from the whole duration. It's not that much, but I think it cuts it right there, because you gotta look at it like this. The big issue was it's so hard for support to box out this hero as a suicide, and a lot of the times you simply just die. So these 25 less damage, it matters a lot, especially seeing as a support health pool is not the highest at the start of the game. So can definitely be the different change. I also went in and looked at the strength here, and I found, like, one strength actually gives you 19 HP. So the 2 less strength is 38 less HP at the start of the game. And seeing as you usually go either hatchet or shield on it, you don't necessarily have the most money for stats or attributes, so you're not gonna have that much HP boost. So like, that's one auto attack less in lane. It plays a role. Like, it doesn't seem very significant, and I know the counterattack and Way of the Sword, the critical strike effect, it doesn't necessarily mean that much in lane, but in the late game it does matter. So I think the nerf definitely hit the right points here.
Yeah.
I don't feel like the hero is still really good in late game, and it still is a really strong lane. I mean, look at 75 magic damage per second. Like, we don't have a lot of other heroes that can do that much damage. So yeah. I really like this nerf. Hits both the early game and the late game.
Doing the math, Moomiander would be proud. I like to hear that with the numbers there. Now, the only thing with Swiftblade, that his ultimate wasn't touched. Are you fine with that, ultimately? You think that's okay with the other changes? Yes,
completely. We don't want to nerf the hero to the ground. Like, the point of the hero is sort of like, if you get caught alone, you're pretty fucked, so to say. Like, you're gonna die, because it's... yeah, that's kind of the point of it. And also, I feel like the ulti is something you can deal with in team fights, and that's really important. Because if you like are not alone and the damage sort of goes to everyone on your team, it's not that much, and it's not overpowered by any means. So I think it was just fine that the ulti was not changed, because we don't want to nerf it to the ground, right? We want to like have it balanced.
Definitely. All right, so yeah, those Swiftblade changes again. Probusk overall, pretty good fan of it right there. great explanation on top of that. Dislike here, maybe not as much of a fan of as far as the patch is concerned. For 3.6, the Warbeast change. This actually has seemed like it's been quite a discussion going for this Warbeast change amongst several players, to be honest. So both good and bad. But Warbeast getting some buffs on both Hellhounds and his ultimate as far as mana cost goes.
Yeah, I feel like I know, like, that's probably, this change in specific is probably going to be something that a lot of competitive players has different opinions about. I mean, my opinion is still that Warbeast is extremely strong, both in lane and in the late game. And I look a lot on a hero, like, when I want to determine if it's good or bad, I look a lot like, how does it do in laning? How does it do like mid game? How does it do late game? And then you add it all up and see, like, do you have an average hero or a really good hero? So I feel like this hero does extremely well in lanes, because due to the fact like it's one of the only heroes that can actually lane against Trallians. I mean, I know we don't see it that much, but on top of that, it's also really, really good in late game. And it brings something for your entire team in lanes. You can sit AFK in your lane, and you can still help your team with the W. It's a global effect, which I value really, really highly. And I noticed right after this patch, one of the first heroes I saw was Warbeast. We played against Reason, and it was like instantly picked up, and I felt like I think actually we picked it as well. But like the Q is the biggest part, and I think it was the ultimate and the Q, the wolves, that got buffed in mana. It was 25 mana less, at least on the wolves, and that's a huge deal, because this hero's only problem in the laning phase is the mana pool, and it's so like I think you start with 195 mana, so like one Q is pretty much over half of your mana pool.
Yeah.
Now you can efficiently get like 2 or 3 of them off without being like completely having to regen to base, and it matters a lot in lane, this buff to the Q. And I put it on the negative side because I thought the hero is already really strong.
Wasn't necessary.
No, I don't think that was necessary at all. So I feel like this hero is gonna, I mean, maybe it will start a little bit off, but I think that is due to the metagame sort of going a little bit of a different direction, maybe not seeing as many trials and stuff like that. But once we get back to that, Warbeast is going to be picked every game.
Yep.
And now it's even better. So,
yay!
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a change. That's going to be interesting to see how the impact really trickles down as far as the flow of the meta shift and everything. So, all right, back to one that you were a fan of here. We got this is a big one here. Monarch got pretty much a full-on rework. Of course, the biggest thing, not only just a lot of number changes on her other abilities, but also her new ability, now known as the Noxious Noxious Nightcrawler, formerly known as Noxious Cloud. Basically, gives you a ward of sight on cast to an extent here for Monarch. So, overall, you like this Probusk? Why is that?
Yeah, I think it's a really great change, because I felt like the hero was sort of like, I hate to say this, but I felt like it was a dead hero before. Like, we never saw it, and it didn't really have a huge use. The only thing I've ever heard competitive players talk about was like, it's a big counter to keeper, but like, it's so hard to pull off, so in theory it didn't really work. I mean, in theory it did work, but realistically it didn't. So, I feel like it's a really, really interesting change. Probably one of the most interesting ones, if not the most, actually. Because like we don't have a mechanic like this. We don't have a spell that becomes a ward. And I've seen this played pretty much every game in TMM, and it seems extremely powerful. The vision and the map control it provides. Now you can only have, I think it's only 4 wards at a time, which is really good, because else it would seem a little overpowered. But I think that's a pretty good place to have it. I mean, a lot of players would maybe call it overpowered, but I don't think it is, because like there's still a lot of downsides to the hero, which is like the laning phase being a little bit weaker. I wouldn't consider the ultimate the greatest. It's sort of like only really worth it if you can get the counter effect of it, like if you can counter the keeper root or something like that. If there's no spells to counter, then it maybe doesn't have the biggest place. But I think the wards is obviously going to be the main cause of what you pick it for, but I think at the same time, as a drafter, you need to also think about, I mean, we kind of need the other spells to synergize as well. The Q is also, I mean, the W, excuse me, the Chrysalis is also very interesting. I think the fact that it instantly heals you makes it like 10 billion times better. It's so much better now, like, and I mean, it could be viable if you're running like a 4-1 with like a 1 carry. You can always like save whoever gets sheeped or whatever initiated on. So this hero now has a place, I feel like, in competitive play, which like the change, like the point of the change was to make that, and I think it achieves that. So that's why I think it is a really good change.
Yeah.
I also really love when new mechanics are added, such as spells for new wards and stuff. And I think this makes for a little bit more aggressive play with the map control that it provides. So
definitely,
really positive for me.
Going to be really a fun one to follow, especially again on the competitive side, and see picked up possibly, because again she's eligible for tournament rules right off the bat, so ain't gonna be banned. Oh yeah,
she
just
is?
a reminder.
Oh my god!
Just a reminder, she is eligible, so might want to take that into consideration here. Okay, so let's talk about another maybe dislike here. We're as much of a fan of once again. That being Ravenor. Ravenor, a hero that is power overwhelming, aka his ultimate. The charges timer countdown increased from 8 to 10 seconds, so you get them a little bit longer basically. So he's that much more powerful, that much longer.
Exactly.
As a result, so you're not a huge fan of this.
No, I feel like this is maybe if we asked people like 4 months ago, they would be like, maybe this hero is slightly underrated. Stuff like that, but like a player that comes into mind is Nav, I think his name was, and he really played this like half of his games or something, and it seemed like to win every game, competitive games. And I have said this so many times. I felt like the biggest reason for them being like his team was like Warp Dash or something. Like if you go a month back or something, they would be like a top 5 diamond team, and I think the reason that they were a top 5 diamond team, you hadn't really heard about any other players. That's because he was insanely good at this hero, and I think this hero is so insanely strong because it 140 superior magic damage. That's so important to stress. It's superior magic, so it goes through BKB, Shrunken Head, if you use it, and it's so hard to deal with. And I just whenever I see like we ban it like half of our games. I feel like this hero, if we know teams pick it.
Yeah.
Then it's gonna be a ban because the hero is just too strong. And the only issue really was that if you went from one lane to another, if there was a fight in a different lane, you had to run all the way. And if you lose all your charges, it isn't that useful anymore. And I mean, you have 2 more seconds to not lose charges now. So
yeah,
there you go.
Can be that much
stronger.
I feel
like the hero is already strong enough. So I didn't really see the point of buffing it.
But as you stated, maybe not played a whole lot, honestly, as far as even the top teams go. So
I think the main reason for that is because there's a couple of teams that plays it. I know it's not all teams that like to play it.
Yeah.
Because it's a little awkward because you kind of have to always sit and hit the creeps. You cannot really go away and sit and wait and utilize the smoke and such. But yeah, my opinion is just the hero is insanely strong already.
Hey. That is just fine because you could be right. You could be right. So it's going to be, again, interesting to see how that impacts things here. The last good change I wanted to talk about, now I think we can all agree on this is an item that really just not seen at all, really very, very few times. But maybe a little bit more after this, though. Lex Talionis getting some buffs across the board, really. So you like this change, and do you possibly think this is a change enough to maybe start seeing it?
I do. Can you tell me what was the cost of it again?
So recipe cost was reduced from 275 to 250.
Yeah.
The range increased, the mana cost on it removed, and now it dispels the debuff from self if the target dies early.
So, like, what was the total cost of the item?
250. No, the total cost. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know what the total cost would be, honestly.
Okay.
So, because like.
Well, it's still 25 gold less, but that's not the biggest deal. I think the biggest deal of this is the fact that the dispel, like it dispels the debuff from yourself when you kill the hero that you targeted with it.
Yeah,
that's a huge deal because the drawback was just like too big on yourself. You would just sort of die too quickly yourself. Sure, you would get the kill, but if you die yourself, it's sort of 1-for-1, and you need to have it needs to be going your way to be worth it. And the only heroes I really reckon before pre-buff we saw this item on was Empath, because you didn't have the drawback at all. So I think this would definitely change this, because like now it's possible for other heroes than Empath to not have the drawback as well.
Yeah.
If you instantly kill the hero, and so I would see this. I feel like it's something. It might take a little bit of time before it comes into play, really, but it will see it. It's kind of like the smoke, Suddenly, the first few weeks you didn't see it, then suddenly Tree started playing a lot, and you see it all the time now. So I feel like it's going to be the same way. I think it's a huge buff, the fact that it gets away from yourself as well now.
Yeah.
That was really the biggest drawback I can think of, and the fact that the range is 1,000. I mean,
Yeah.
you can like sit back and use this and be safe, pretty much. So,
Maybe
yeah, I would
yeah.
definitely think about this on, especially on heroes like Tundra, Empath, and pretty much area aggressive jungler. I mean, we don't have that many. Maybe, I mean, it's kind of hard because to find a spot on it on a Parasite because he's like he has some other core items like the Probusk, but I don't think the item pickup would be bad, especially because you can go into the creep and get rid of it that way as well. So yeah, I feel like the item it's a great item. That's what I'm getting at. If I was playing Tundra, I would go for it.
The possibility for it to be great is there again. Will people be comfortable picking it up? It used to be 800, by the way, so now it's 775 overall.
Okay.
So
that's really cheap, and
yeah.
It does a lot, man. It does for the cost. It does a lot.
And again, you can upgrade it, of course, twice. So you know the pattern being now 25 gold less as well. So overall, you're looking at really 75 gold in total.
Right. Yeah, that's a big deal.
3, yeah. It's good. All right, so that's all the good and dislikes there. Probusk, anything else you wanted to add? Any maybe changes you look forward to seeing in the future here before we wrap up?
Yes, I would like to see a a better farming mechanism on Gunblade.
A better farming mechanism on Gunblade, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Those metal slugs not good enough?
No, I don't feel like the Q does enough compared to other like flash farmers, and for it to be able to carry, you kind of have to get the items, and
yeah.
I don't think you can do that right now. I mean, you kind of have to play a little different role than a farmer, maybe like sort of ganking, utilizing your ulti every single time it's off cooldown. But hell, if we get that changed, you could use it as the short laner more efficiently.
Gunblade does seem like a pretty fun hero, and
it is a very fun hero.
Change, so.
Yes.
All right. Well, there you go. Probusk, thanks for joining us, man. It's a pleasure as always to have you on, and appreciate your input, and know the community will as well. So thanks again.
Well, it's nice you wanted to have me.
Yep. And with that said, going to be wrapping up here for this segment. Again, we've been doing this with several other pro players here for the competitive scene, especially. So getting their input as far as both likes and dislikes here from patch 3.6 Calamity's Corruption. So definitely check them out here if you haven't. With that said, wrapping up for this one. Thank you once again, Probusk, and thank you guys for tuning in.